Hi, I'm Michelle and welcome to Life Rooms Chats. Today we're going to be talking about women's mental health. The reason we're doing this is because women experience mental health and mental illness differently to how men and other genders might experience it, and they report different symptoms. So it's relevant to bring up some of those expectations that we may feel. And the way we're going to do that today is we're going to frame it in terms of the 5 ways to well-being. If you haven't heard of that, give it a Google. It's well worth looking into. We'll have loads of stuff coming up on that as well. What it is basically is the 5 ways to well-being are connect, which means speaking to other people, not being socially isolated, which I know can be difficult, but it really does help your well-being. We're social creatures as humans. Being active, which is good for your body and likewise good for your mind. Taking notice, so really being mindful and taking time for yourself and reflecting, not just allowing life to happen to you. Number 4 is keep learning. So our minds need something to focus on and something to keep going, so we're going to have a look at that as well. And finally, give. So about how giving to others can help your spirit and your well-being. So we're going to have a chat about that today, and we'll start off by talking about expectations of women. Historically, the expectations of women have been quite severe and really rigid, but as we move forward, I think those expectations are starting to drift away, and we can really start to model ourselves as the women that we want to be, and that's going to be really useful. So I'm sitting here today with Trish, Michaela and Leila, and we're going to talk about our role models to begin with. I've brought in a picture of my little nan when she was a lot younger and I think she just looks stunning in this picture, doesn't she?
Lovely.
Just like me. She really inspires me because I feel like she was a strong person but really loving, endlessly loving, and that to me is quite a feminine trait that I try to emulate. Michaela, I know you've got a...
Yeah. So my role model is my mum. This picture doesn't do her justice because she's absolutely stunning as my mum. But she's my role model because she's strong, she's resilient, and I am who I am today because of her, because of all the things that she's put into me and made me the person that I am. She's taught me how to love and to be kind and how to stand up for myself.
I think these are really positive things to try and see in other women and to try and promote within yourself. And if you sort of get to define what a woman is, you do sort of take things from parental figures. Like I'm looking at my nan there, but there's a lot about my mum that I could say that I find to be inspirational, if you like. But I guess you said, Leila, when we talked about this earlier, that you didn't really have one specific role model.
Yeah, I have different role models for different areas of my life. I suppose for strength and resilience, it's your parents, isn't it? It's your mum, your grandmother. I think for my family life, it's probably my older sister. I learn from her mistakes as well.
Oh yeah, I'm the same with my sister.
But my father maybe is probably my ultimate role model.
Your father, really?
Yeah,
So that's interesting, isn't it? Because obviously, like, you're female, he's male. Why your dad?
I think it's because he's always kind of championed us as feminists.
Oh, okay.
And that's quite different, isn't it? Culturally, in our culture anyway, it's unusual for a male to be a champion of feminists, you know.
Right,
So,
okay.
yeah, but my mother as well, for her strength and her resilience, because she came over to, the UK, didn't know a word of English, and she just got on with it. And we're all what we are. Me and my sisters were quite strong characters, and it's. I think there's not one ultimate role model for me.
Yeah.
There's loads of different people within my family, my friends that I can draw from. Yeah.
It's interesting that you say there, like, that you use your dad as a role model, and then we would normally think of you would emulate someone that you resemble in a way, and obviously you resemble your dad. You probably look like him.
Yeah.
But we're not the same, are we? Like it's different for men and women, and so I have a lot of male role models as well. But for me, it was really important to have female role models, people that I could look up to, that I could think, well, they're a lot like me. But Trish, your view on role models is quite different to mine.
Yeah, I don't really have any role models. I think I have a pick and mix option, a little bit like Leila. There is certain qualities that have come through, and I think you've mentioned strength and resilience.
Yeah.
And I do think strength and resilience is something that I'd associate, with women, strangely enough. When you'd kind of think that's a masculine trait, but actually, women have a lot of fights going on that we don't know about, and they still dust themselves off, apply the lippy and get on with it. And I think there is a little bit of that coming through with what we're all saying.
Definitely. I come from a family where the women are all the strongest and probably the most domineering. I think that's why we're all so headstrong and
feisty.
Feisty.
We've said a lot there about just getting on with it. I remember my nan again, when she was 60, she was in her 60s anyway, she lived in the Highlands of Scotland, and she went over a cliff, flipped the car 360, landed on its wheels again, smashed the sunroof, cut her head to bits, no mobile phones then. She got out the car, went to the boot, opened it, got a headscarf out, put it on, and just sat in the car and waited. Women do have that resilience, but I think sometimes we can feel really isolated and struggle to connect with women, if that makes sense. For me, that feels like it's due to a competitiveness and cattiness amongst women. I mean, often you'll hear women say, oh, women are worse than men. Women are worse than men for putting other women down. But one of our big strengths in terms of mental health is that we do talk about how we're feeling and things. So connection's so important. Do you guys have anything that stops you connecting with others?
I think it's comparing. We're constantly comparing ourselves to others.
Yeah.
I think women are really, guilty of that. And I think for me, I've stopped doing it, because it does put you down when you're constantly comparing yourselves to people in the media.
How did you stop doing it?
I think it's just approaching 40.
Right.
Yeah,
You are looking well, can I say?
It's just, it's as you having girls as well. I've got 3 girls. I need to stop it because I need to be a role model for them. So I'm a bit worried about.
Do you find yourself slipping up though, comparing yourself with others, like other mothers even? That I imagine that's quite difficult.
Yeah, I think that's what made me stop. Talking about it on the phone to my sister, and and they're around and they can listen to what I'm saying. I think that's what made me stop, because I can't, kids pick up on it.
Yeah. You don't want to see your own ugliness in your children, do you? And you kind of have to pull back from that a bit, I guess. You've got girls as well, haven't you?
I've got a daughter and a son. I've never really struggled with the kind of type of thing. I take people as face value as they are, regardless, and I don't really. I'm very competitive in sports and stuff, but in other people, not really.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm the type of person that will empower you for who you are. That's just who I am. But I think it's really important as well. I will always want to be the best role model for my kids, and showing them this is the type of person that you need to be, and what's right and what's wrong. I think it's a good lesson to have in life as well. So I want my daughter to be strong and independent, to know that her voice carries value, and I also want my son to feel exactly the same, and to know that you treat people the way you want to be treated, regardless.
And I think it's hard as well, with, as you mentioned, social media, it's hard not to compare yourself with others, because everyone's posting their positive things, aren't they? They're not really posting the negative stuff, but then if you do post anything negative, it's seen as attention seeking. So it's complex, isn't it? So it's hard to have your bases covered there. But I think, we're connecting right now as women by having these conversations, and I'd invite anyone watching to connect as well with other women and have these chats, even writing below how you connect with other people and maybe what gets in the way. I think we'll move on now to our second way of well-being, which is being active. Trish, I was going to come to you on this because tell us a little bit about your background with being active.
So I'm a personal trainer, that's my kind of job, and then I'm with the Life Rooms now, having activity sessions and fitness and just basically just general well-being through being active. And I think one of the big things that I've come across with training with women is basically about the criticism, and I think just kind of you skimmed on it a little bit, that we'll compare ourselves to others because we feel a little bit inadequate ourselves sometimes, and it's quite a brave kind of thing to come out and say, I'm not going to do that anymore, you know, I want to be who I want to be. And I think fitness is a really good way of doing that. Feeling stronger physically will help you feel stronger mentally. Women have a lot of challenges in their life, you know, our hormones sometimes, you know, take over everything. You know, we've all been through that, I'm sure, and trying to find a way to stay fit, you know, to stay loving our bodies when sometimes we feel like our bodies don't love us. It is a really tough thing to do.
I remember really distinctly when I was in secondary school going to do swimming, and that was fine. I was brilliant at swimming. I swam like a fish when I was a little kid, but then when puberty hit and it was like we'd go swimming with the boys and stuff, and I'd walk out there and I'd be in like this little swimming costume, just like felt like I was on display. And you're so vulnerable at that time. It put me off, and I stopped exercising, and I still struggle to go to the gym. I think women do tend to have some barriers there. I know obviously like men would as well, but we have barriers there due to those hormones, due to those life experiences, and you said due to culture as well, that you've worked with women due to culture. And Leila, you had a perspective on that as well. We were chatting beforehand, sorry guys.
I think it's quite difficult. I mean, our lifestyles, I mean, I feel like sometimes I'm on a hamster wheel, and unless I don't make that time to be physically active, then I'm never going to do it. What I've done is with a friend of mine who's also you know, a working mum, we make time on a Friday morning, and that's our time where we exercise. It's only like once a week, but it benefits us mentally.
So you keep each other accountable as well?
So, yeah, absolutely.
Would you exercise on your own if she wasn't doing it?
Well, we were doing the Couch to 5K together. So whenever, because it's like weekly, isn't it? Whenever she couldn't make it, then that means I can't do it. So I'd feel guilty if I missed a session. So it's good to have you know, a gym buddy.
Yeah.
I don't really go to the gym. I exercise outside. I think that's, you know, for me, it works better for me. But having a buddy definitely helps.
Connection's massive, and I think that's the thing. You're going straight back to the connect category that we talked about. And it is, you know, if we can find someone to do it, and it's not just about finding someone to do it with us, but I'm a female PT, you know, I can help if people are going through, you know, menopause, for people who've got issues from, you know, like from when they were young, and I had similar issues when I was young when I came through puberty. I hated my body for about 10 years after when I got through the other side. So, and I think, you know, just connect to a female PT. There's quite a number of women-only fitness sessions out there as well, which are accessible to all women, and I've met a lot of people in that who have never exercised before. They've never picked a barbell up in their life, and you know, teaching people to squat and do things that you just set them on a new path in life. And you know, there are ways to do it, and if it's not for you, there's always ways. And if you connect, you can find different ways of getting that activity up, and it'll just benefit you.
And I think anything we do shows us to be grateful for our bodies. I know you love the gym. I'm conscious of time, but I want to get in dead quick.
I train all the time, so I think when you train, and it's not only good for your body, it's good for your mind, body and soul. So I really enjoy it as well. So it makes me happy. So it releases all your happy endorphins. I train because I'm competitive as well. I train because I have goals, and that there's nothing better feeling than achieving them goals and then setting even further goals. Yeah. So I love training, and it's my go-to. It's my time. And funny enough, the majority of the people I train with are actually men.
Yeah. I think as well, just to come back to you guys, being active is a very personal thing. And you need to find what works for you. Just as Leila said there, she exercises with a buddy. Michaela loves the gym. Being grateful for our bodies because they carry us through life, obviously. I'd like to bring us on now to taking notice. Obviously, women tend to struggle with taking notice and reflecting because I read World Health Organization statistics thing, and it said that women struggle because they feel like they're not only juggling everything in their own lives, but that they feel responsibility for their family's well-being and their friends' well-being. How much time are we really finding for ourselves, and what do you guys do to take notice?
Well, I've got 2 children, and we're currently they're doing their work from home, so that's the challenge. I'm quite lucky because I can escape to work. So I think if we were under each other's feet all day, every day, I think it'd be really, really hard. So
Yeah.
I'd tough to all those that are actually doing that right now. I think it's really important because it's good to have time with them, because that's valuable and that's time that you're never going to get back. But I also think it's really important to have your own little escape as well. So I think we're quite good at, we know each other really, really well, so we know when we need our own time as well. So I'll go and escape in the garden and do a workout or go for a run, get on my bike. Taylor will take herself somewhere, and Ricky
so
will
you
take
sort
herself
of
somewhere.
use that being active time
Definitely.
as reflective, and so do I. As I say, I do yoga. I enjoy that. It's, for me, it's not just a body workout, it's a spiritual
Even
workout.
simple things like, go and light an incense stick and go and get a nice bubble bath.
Yeah.
And take some
Oh, I
time
love
just to
that.
chill.
Or just, sometimes I'll take my phone out with me and I'll go for a walk, and I'll photograph little things that I otherwise wouldn't notice, and that's really good for reflecting. Do you do any meditation, or I don't know, like anything that you find helps you to reflect?
I'm a busy working mum of 4. My husband runs a business which I also help with. So for me, I have to make time for myself, otherwise I think I'd go insane.
Yeah.
It's Fridays for me. The end of the week is a Friday, the kids are in school, I'm not working, that's my day. Where I either connect with my friends, I do my physical activity, and I think that's what keeps me sane.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, I'm very conscious of time. I just want to move us on now to keep learning. Keep learning aspect of the 5 ways to well-being is about keeping your mind going and keeping it focused on something else. For me, my mind works a mile a minute. The thoughts just come and they don't stop, and I need something to distract me from that, and it can't be old stuff because I can think while I'm doing that. It has to be something new. At the minute I'm learning chess and I'm not very good, but I will be. Yeah, exactly. Are you guys learning anything new?
I quite enjoy learning, so whether that's through work and new development, I quite like that as well, because I like to progress and have goals. But it's all different things. I think it's a lot about learning about yourself as well, and I think this current situation that we found ourselves in has made me learn a lot about myself and about my kids as well. But learning as in other things, I'm going to be doing Reiki training.
Are you?
I am. I'm going to be doing Reiki.
That's cool. Each to their own though. I'm not a fan of Reiki. I want to just put your hands on me and give me a proper massage.
Oh, I do love a massage, but have you never had a Reiki as well? It's amazing.
Oh, that's cool. So we've got chess and Reiki. Are you learning anything at the minute, Leila?
I think this time we've been forced to slow down, haven't we? So we've got to keep our minds active. So I've been cooking and baking. When I can find flour in the shops.
Oh, it's so nice, isn't it, to be able to cook and think about food?
Yeah, I know. And I think it passes the time as well. So I've been doing lots of baking with the kids, and it's helping them as well. I mean, it's difficult to get them motivated at the moment with the home learning.
I find as well when you're teaching, you learn at the same time. Like at the Life Rooms, I teach women's mental health, I teach various other courses, and I find that keeps me on my game, and it keeps me in the moment, because there's always something new to learn. And with baking and cooking, there's always a new way to mess it up, I find.
Yeah, I've been watching Anthony's videos as well.
I love you.
Some of those
Little plug for Anthony there. Like it. Trish, are you learning anything new?
I'm currently trying to, I'm learning to be a yoga teacher, so I've been, mostly at the moment it's like looking at the background of yoga, and it's the kind of the history of yoga and the origins, and it's made me realise about meditation, so going back to the taking notice. just that I don't slow down. So I've kind of comboed the two, the keep learning. Just because I kind of need to teach myself how to come down a little bit from like the usual craziness that I have. But the other thing is, like I said, with cooking, and I think as well, just I've tried a few new ingredients and just kind of played around. They got it wrong. They got it right. So yeah, it's just kind of being open and being open to learning, and I think that's a massive thing. It's not just about completing tasks. Actually, it's about, okay, what on earth do I do with this? How do I get the skin off this?
And accepting that you don't know everything.
Exactly, yeah. But being happy to Google it, or to ask a friend, or phone your mum, or whatever it takes to find out sort of like good ideas of how to take it forward. But I think just to me, it's that thing. I'm okay to not know everything.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to take the first step to know.
And it is a personal pursuit as well, learning. I think that we are looking after ourselves by pursuing something that we're interested in. I think often women do feel that they fall into these specific roles, and that is all that they are: a mother, a sister, a grandmother, a daughter, a colleague, a friend, but we don't define ourselves as who we are in our own interests. Mm-hmm. And pursuing that learning really does help with that. And it might come across as a little bit selfish, or it might feel selfish at first, but it will benefit others in the end, I guess. But it's not really about them, it's about you, isn't it? That being said, I am going to move us on now to our final part of our Ways to Wellbeing, which is to give. This is quite a spiritual thing, and it's about how giving to others can make you feel better about yourself. Does anyone have any experience of that?
I think giving could be anything. Giving your smile, giving your time, giving your patience.
Yeah.
I love positive affirmations, and I suffer for them actually. Mm-hmm. So I love to put them out on my social media. I do it every morning on my morning huddle.
Nice.
But so it's little things like that. But giving as well, I've done some fundraising. I'm actually in the middle of fundraising right now, so it's giving back to that and doing the activities. So yeah, I think giving's quite a nice one.
It makes you feel like a good person as well. It makes you value yourself more, and then your self-esteem is just boosted from there, I think. But it's important not to then become a doormat for other people. Yeah. It's all about balance, this, isn't it? Trish, were you going to say something about giving?
I think it just widens your kind of like knowledge. I remember one time helping some guy with his shopping, and he was walking home with his shopping, so I offered to help him. And I learnt so much about him on that walk. It was only like a 10-minute walk. And I learnt so much about him, and it just broadens your mind. You get to see different. I think once you open your heart and open your mind to new things like that, it's really nice to kind of look what you're going to learn from it. These all connect so well into each other. But it is about broadening your own understanding of the world. And I think when you start giving, and I remember asking a homeless person if she wanted something from Aldi, and then she said she wanted nappies. And my heart sunk, and it's not something I've ever even thought about. I've never. Now I get a nappies every time I see her. She's probably sick of nappies. But
that child's grown up now.
That's 20 years ago. But it is. It's one of those where it broadens your mind. It makes you a more well-rounded and a stronger person. But definitely. I think just little like a smile. You mentioned a smile. Just lifting somebody and making people feel like this is a nice space.
And just feeling listened to as well. We talked at the start a little bit about how we need to connect with other women and talk to them. But I guess here we're kind of coming full circle and saying we need to listen as well. Because I think that's a big thing to give to someone, just to listen without judgment and really take on board what they're saying. And I think women are quite good, I have to say, at not telling you how to fix things, just listening to where you're at so that you can sort things out for yourself. And that's something I do try to give to other women. What about yourself in terms of give? What does that sort of bring up for you?
I think giving time in your ear to listen, especially to your family and your friends. And also, I love speaking to strangers. I'm quite a nosy person. I love to know, the whole background of life and as you probably just come across a bit nosy, but yeah, it does broaden your mind, makes you open-minded, absolutely getting time to listen to people.
So it's interesting the way that you say that, you just brought something up for me, and it's actually about my little Nan. I know I keep going on about it, but she's an absolute hero, honestly. A couple of years ago, just before she died, she'd been writing this book, and it was about her life, and she gave up on it because she didn't feel that anyone would care. And I did like an online thing where I interviewed her about her life, and it went out live so she could see at the time how many people were listening and how many people were commenting. And honestly, I think it's my favourite thing I've ever done for anyone in my entire life. Like it really made her feel like her experience mattered, and I've mentioned it about 6,000 times in this little video, so I reckon it mattered to me anyway. So yeah, it's just a positive thing to do that, and you will feel better about yourself for it. You'd said to me in a different chat that empathy is a gift.
Yeah.
And I do feel that that is something that we can offer to people, trying to understand what they're going through and just really being there for them.
And it's a very feminine trait.
It is. It is a feminine trait.
The amount of times where, men don't understand us, and I think, women's empathy, being able to relate to someone, you drop your own defences and drop your own stuff going on, and actually put yourself in somebody else's shoes and see it from their point of view, and just that time and that space and the listening is one of the biggest gifts you can give anyone. There's so many times that you mentioned about giving you the answer, and I think that's quite masculine, like, let me fix it, whereas women are just kind of like, let me sit with you in it, and that's what it is. Let me just be with you while you're in this place, and I'll help you that way. And I think that is, as a female trait, it's probably my favourite, our ability to do that, because that is such a big gift. It really is.
I think that's a nice place to round it up as well. And thank you all for listening to us. You've spent your time listening to us today and listening to other women, so I suppose that's one big tick for your 5 ways to wellbeing. If you could let us know in the comments below, or in the building, or email us, let us know what you're doing to keep yourself well. We'd love to hear from you. And obviously we're going to have a Survey Monkey if you want to let us know how we're doing, and let us know what you want to see, and just like and comment and share and all that stuff that they say on YouTube anyway. Thank you for watching. I've been Michelle, this is Trish, Michaela and Leila. Thanks very much.